You see that? Hi, everybody. That's our theme for today. Idiot lives matter. Okay? I got something interesting for you. So, I've been on vacation. I was out to lovely British Columbia. And I come back and I stumble across this article, which probably made national news, and I just didn't notice it. So I'm a little late on this, is what I'm saying. And it was the Black Lives Matter people in Toronto, Canada, were having a protest. And I'm thinking to myself, Black Lives Matter Canada? Black Lives Matter Toronto? Why do we have Black Lives Matter in Toronto, Canada? Now, I know a lot of you out there are confused because we share this long border with the United States of America, and it's a lovely place. It truly is. It has its problems, it has its issues, okay. But we share this pop culture with them. We watch the same movies, listen to the same music, we cheer for the same sports teams. Some people like the NFL better than the CFL, living here in Canada, all right? That's the way it is. But you know we're not the same country, right? You know we don't have the same history. So I have to question why we have a Black Lives Matter here in Canada. Seems to me we got a lot of whiners out there that just want to be noticed, okay? Now I got more to tell you about what they were protesting, the Black Lives Matter people in Toronto. And this will kill you if you don't already know. You'll find it hilarious. I found it hilarious. Look at me. Look at how happy I am. Absolutely hilarious. Let me tell you something. You know what? I'm not an expert on history, and I'm sure there's all sorts of people who can take another side of this discussion and spin it so that it looks like Canada's a horrible, horrible country, fraught with slavery and all sorts of things. Yes, Canada had slavery. The whole world had slavery, okay? The whole world. The First Nations people here in Canada, and I'm assuming the USA as well, had slaves that were other First Nations people. Okay, so this isn't a unique concept. But it was a big deal in the United States, and it's led to a lot of misery and a lot of conflict and social problems that are going on to this day. However, Canada's history is not the same. While the USA was having their difficulties with slaves, Canada was a safe haven for them. They escaped to Canada. Canada welcomed the slaves. Yes, come to Canada. You can live free here. This is what we do. All right? That's our history. Don't change it because you want to be noticed. I'm going to show you something here. I got the visual aids, right? I have visual aids for you all. Here you go. Here's one. I looked this up myself. Again, I'm not a historian, but you can look up a few things and get at least a base idea of facts. Here's one for you. I found this interesting. First slave ships arrive in the United States in 1619. 1619, 1619, 1619. Remember that date. Canada becomes a country in 1867. That's more than 200 years later. 200 years later, Canada becomes a country. I tell you a quick aside here, by the way, for all the black folk living down in the southern United States, some of your families have been in North America for 400 years. Almost. Very close to 400 years. My family, and most of the families that I know here in Western Canada, Saskatchewan, have been here about 100 years. I believe my family arrived here in 1905 or 1895. I can't remember which. All right? So you black folk down in the States have been here a lot longer than my family has. So meanwhile, what I'm trying to say here is that while the struggles and fights were going on in the United States, including Civil War, which, here, let's have a look. I drew another one for you guys. U.S. Civil War, freeing slaves, ends in 1865. 1865. That's 2 years before Canada even becomes a country. And they were already freed. Our history is not the same as the American history. Are we clear on this? Can we please understand this? Is there racism still? Sure there is. There's lots of people that hate each other. There's a ton of people that hate me because I have long hair. There's people on my block who hate me because I'm an agnostic. There's people that will hate me no matter what. There's people that will hate you no matter what. But was there systemic racism in the Canadian society? No, there wasn't. Not as it applies to black people. First Nations, this is a whole nother issue that we're not going to get into right now. Some would say there's racism there. I don't know. I suppose maybe there is. But it's not like the United States history, okay? The point is, the Black Lives Matter people in Toronto, why do you exist exactly? Can you explain that to me? Why do you exist? There's no reason. There's never been systemic hatred or racism towards black people in Canada. There was barely any black people in Western Canada in the 70s and 80s when I was a kid growing up. I think out of my graduating class of, I don't know how many we had, 300, 400 people, whatever it was, 275, I can't remember. In my high school, I think there was maybe 3 black kids. That was it. We had no reason to hate them. They might tell you a different story. Maybe there was somebody that picked on them, but really, they were afforded every opportunity for success in their life and the freedoms all the rest of us enjoy at the end of the day. So aside from maybe a personal issue of racism once in a while, which again, you're going to find everywhere because people love to hate, okay? They love to hate. Some people love to hate. So if it's not because you're black, it's because you got long hair, because your religion's different, or because you drive a shitty car or whatever it is. But there was never any systemic racism in Canada. Certainly not my part of Canada. My ancestors came here, what did I say, in 1895? So they came 30 years after the conflict in the United States had concluded, freeing slaves. How am I and my ancestors a part of this? What reason do I have to hate black people? I have no reason. Don't give a shit. But furthermore, why do Black Matters Lives Matter people, why are they here in Canada? I don't get that. I'm going to show you something else. The British Empire abolishes slavery in 1833. So before Canada was even a country, the British Empire, which governed over us until, what was it, 1980? I think, 1982, I can't remember now. They'd already abolished slavery.